I'm going to go back to streaming and see if we can get that working well. In fact, hold on. Let me see what we can do with this. If we stream this thing properly. Let's see how our stream looks. Okay. That doesn't look bad. Okay, finally we're back. Okay, that's good. All right. So this you can get this information and you can see how much memory you have total, how much is free. The swap, which is extra if you go beyond your RAM, which most computers do a lot, but I've got a lot of RAM, so maybe I won't. I have 32 gigabytes of RAM, so there's odds are I'm not going to use more than that. So yeah, this shows the different. GNOME Shell is running using a lot of CPU. Chrome, OBS. I'm using OBS right here. I'm using OBS to record and stream. Okay, so this shows our processes. Okay, I'm going to press Q to get out of that, and the command for that is top. Just top. Okay. Now, I can do every second it would refresh. So I can do top only one iteration. And it shows me only one single time for the size of my screen. If I raise this up, I can do it again. It will only show me for the size of my terminal. Okay? So if I don't want it always changing every second or two, then I can do top for one iteration. Then I can look quickly and closely. Now, here's another thing. Remember, in Linux, everything is a file. What is it? B shows it. This, if I do B, it will go all the way to the bottom. Okay? So there, all the way to the bottom. You see?
Yeah.
So now I could just go scroll through and I can see all my processes, and they don't change every few seconds. I don't have to worry about, wait, it moved. Wait, where did it go now? I can just find it. Okay, the numbers may not always be the same, but I can see it there and I can see about where it was working. Okay. So what does the top command show me? Can you explain that to me? What does the top command show me?
It just shows the moment that you press it.
Okay, but what moment? What is it showing me from that moment?
It shows the file and
No, these are not files. These are little mini programs that are running called processes. So this is Vivaldi, which is this browser here. Chrome, there's a Chrome process running over here. Okay. Does that make sense? Are you with that? You follow it?
yeah.
Okay. All right, so what do we call these mini programs?
Process.
Right. And what command will show us all of the processes running? Top. That's right. Now, remember we said Linux, if we want to make it so it's easy for people to read it, what's our word for that?
-H.
Right. H. And what is H for?
Human.
Right. Well, now I'll show you one other thing in a minute. But see, I can take all this here and instead of being in the terminal, remember in Linux, everything is a file. Remember that? So let me come in here to our Arcodia class. Here we are, right in here. So watch this. I can put all of this into, we'll call it top.file. I can be anything. I can put it into a file. Okay? Now watch the file appear. Boom, there's our file. Now, I can open that with gedit, and there's the file. Now it's all in the file. So I can search for stuff. You know, I can do find, you know, it's all the text in the file. Now, if I want to find a process, it's very easy to use gedit to find stuff. You see this? Does it make sense?
Yeah.
And that okay, so when you're running your Linux computer, you've got a computer. You can do these things to manage the computer. You don't have to look at a pretty window all the time. You can type stuff into a terminal. I need to find something. You don't, when you're running Linux, you don't, there's not always one command to show you what you need. But you can use things like this. What are my processes? I know. I'll take all my processes and put it into a file and look at the file. And that's how you run, that's how you control and manage the computer and see what's happening. And it doesn't have to be exactly like that, but you're thinking this way when you're running Linux. Okay? You have all these little baby tools you can use. Okay. Well, here's another program. See this command here? What's that say? Right there. Right. What do you think H stands for?
Human.
Right. Look at that. See, it's got more colors. It shows the processes. This is a lot of Google Chrome stuff running. There's OBS. I'm scrolling down. Nautilus is this browser here. But it puts it in color so it's easier to see. This is my memory, how much RAM I'm using. This is base. Here's a little bit more that I'm using sometimes. You know what all these numbers are? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 27. Do you know what those 28 things are? That's my i7 Generation 14 GPU or CPU. Do you remember there would be a CPU that's a 4-core or an 8-core, you know? It's a CPU with like 8 cores. Do you know about this?
No.
A CPU has actually many different little CPUs inside, and each one of them can do work. The CPU core. See this? My CPU and my computer is so new. Many computers would have 4 cores or 8 cores. Mine has 28 cores. It's super new. Okay, so most of the computers that people have from even 10 years ago, like my laptop I brought from Taiwan. It's a 15-year-old MSI computer. Okay, this I think had 6 cores. I think it had 6 cores. So, and it was a Generation 8. I think it was a Generation 8. All right. We'll leave that there. Okay, so that's what that is. But it's showing me the different cores and how much, what the load is, how much it's being used. This core 12 is being used at about 20 to 40%. Has a load. So, anyhow, swap. It's not using any of the swap disk use. That's the extra disk for RAM. We talked about that earlier. So I can see what the system resources are. I can see what they're up to. I can see what they're doing. I can see and understand them. Right. I can press F10, usually Q for quit. So that's HTOP. Okay. So this is the thing. All right. Here's another one, uptime. Uptime shows you how long the computer's been running. My computer's been running for 1 hour and 18 minutes. There's only one user logged on. This is the time right now. Now, if I log in to one of my computers online, I have web servers that have been running for 2 and 3 years. And I never have to restart them because I do such a great job that I never have to restart that server. And that server on the web has been running for 3 years. And I never had to stop my website to restart the server. Now, isn't that great? 3 years and no 10-second pause to restart. Isn't that awesome? That's called uptime. It's called uptime. And the command to see your uptime is uptime. Now, there are computer software engineers and administrators who will tell you that it's better to restart your server sometimes, to make sure it's safe and secure. And that it's more important that the computer is running clean and safe than to be going 3 and 5 and 10 years and never restarting. And if I tell them, well, my computer has been running for 10 years and I never had to restart it, they'll say, oh, that uptime doesn't matter. Make it safe. Right? Do you understand? Now, what am I talking about? Am I talking about disk space? How long the computer's been running? What's that called?
It's running for 10 years.
It's called uptime. How long the computer has been running. That's called uptime. If the computer's turned off, it's called downtime. And there are people that manage servers who will say that the uptime doesn't matter. What matters is that the computer is up to date and secure. And you know what I say to that? I just know. I don't say anything. I just know that my uptime is longer than his uptime. So, you remember that. When you run into these people who tell you that uptime doesn't matter, you just remember that your uptime is longer than theirs. Okay, all right, okay. And kind of like this, I've had friends with an iPhone 14 Pro, and they say that it doesn't matter, that it's just as good as a 13 Pro or a 15 Pro. And you know what I say to that? I say that my iPhone 15 Pro is better than their 14 Pro. That's what I say. Okay. All right, okay. I just know that when they're talking, I smile, but I just tell myself, I have a 15 Pro. Ha! Okay, now, if you're looking for a specific process, you can run PSAUX. And there's a lot about this, and it shows a list of all the processes running. and it gives a lot more information than top does. Oftentimes too much information, but it's good to look for. Now, I'm going to show you how this actually works when you're looking for a process. If you're looking for a process to control the process, you won't use top. Top tells you how much memory stuff is using. Okay, but if you want to control the process, like to stop it or to kill it, then you're going to use PS aux for process. Okay, I'm going to run Firefox just as an example. We're going to run Firefox. Here it comes. There's Firefox. There's Firefox right there. Okay, let's make it really small. Okay, now what we're going to do is, if I do PS aux, down near the bottom, there's a bunch of Firefox. See, that's Firefox I just started. See all those Firefox things running? Okay? Those are all running to keep this running. Okay? All right. Now, this is a lot to look for, though. It's a lot of information. It's a lot to search through. A lot. There's so much there. All these little processes running. Maybe you're going to have a hard time finding it. So what we do is we run PS aux, and then we run a grep for Firefox from a pipe. You know what we're doing here, right?
Yeah.
This is very normal Linux operation. Well, I can run this and I can run that, so I'll pipe them together. And that's how I just run. That's normal. That's how to do it. That is the correct way to do it. There we go. Here's a bunch of Firefox. I found my Firefox processes. Here they are. Process ID 35260-265. Now, that's a lot of information still. If I want just the process ID for the true real, which would the real Slim Shady please stand up? Which one of these is the real Firefox? Well, there's another command, since everybody does this grep thing, PS aux grep. Someone made this command called pgrep. So I can pgrep Firefox and it will give me the ID for Firefox. So now watch this. I can kill 35260. Watch Firefox die. See, it died. Dead. Okay. All right, Firefox is terminated. Now, I'm going to run it again so I can show you what. Okay. Oh, that's so beautiful. Look at the fox with the long tail. Okay. I can also just kill all Firefox. I can do that. That's another command. Kill all. Now, it won't always work, but you can run it. Now, if I really wanted to have fun, I could do this. Okay, and this will kind of make sense to you. I could do this. Kill pgrep Firefox. See, the output of this will just be the number, right? Now, it's going to be a new number now. See, before it was 260, then it was 517. So now it's 37493. Numbers keep going up. This is 35. This is 36. Okay? So I could just kill, and then the output of this will be the number. Kill it that way. Okay? Are you with me?
Yeah.
All right. So we have looked at DU and DF. Okay, what's DU stand for?
Disk usage.
That's right. What's DF stand for?
Disk file system.
Right. So disk usage will show you how big these folders are. Disk file system will show you the full partition and the percent that's being used. It's a bigger picture. If the disk is full, you're going to want to use DF for disk file system. DF will ask if the disk is full. But it may need some arguments like a path. You may need to use an H or a dot. You may need to use, if I use DF, H, I have to use, if I do this, okay, there we go. So it shows me. So this, okay, available. Now, what's the percent used? If my computer has problems and one of these is 99%, then that's probably the problem. I need to delete something on that disk. And I'm the administrator. I should be able to know what those are doing. This is my home. This is root. Right. PS aux is for processes. pgrep will find it. There's more. I have a cheat sheet I made called resources and things that run. Let's just look at it quick and see what we've got. It does a lot of these. There's a lot of examples. Dpackage is a way to install stuff. Logger. Okay. There's a lot that can be done there. Here are other HTOP and top and HTOP are normal. HTOP normally does not come installed. You have to install it. On Arch, top won't be installed because nothing comes installed on Arch. It's got like 9 commands. When you install Arch Linux, there's only 9 things installed with it. It doesn't have anything because it's minimal. Arch Linux is very, very small. But there's a lot you can install very easily. Here are other monitors that some people will use. But we're not going to get into that. Uptime. Okay, shows how long. What does uptime tell you? What is that?
How long does this computer be used?
Yeah, how long the computer has been running. Okay, now there is a. So we're going to watch a video. Wow. Okay, right here. Let's see if we can watch this inside. Let's see if we can watch this inside. Here we go. Oh, playback is bad. Okay, that's not working. Well, I'm going to have to cancel this because I don't want to live stream another YouTube video. But you can look up uptime funk. So go watch and play that.